So guys, let's continue with Bhagavad Gita, the highest knowledge which must be taught before anything else and meant for every human being on this planet, religious or anti-religious. So in the unconsciousness, one does not even experience the pleasure of unconsciousness. The pleasure of alcohol is surely there, but when a person is drunk, then he does not realize it. It becomes only known when the intoxication of alcohol subsides. When you are asleep, you do not experience any pleasure in the sleep. When you wake up in the morning, then only you realize that it was very blissful sleep. To enjoy unconsciousness, it is necessary to become conscious. And one does not feel any happy in consciousness. Hence, one has to descend into unconsciousness. While drinking alcohol, it's the same experience. So when you go to the extreme of one situation, then only you realize the negative effects of it. I remember when I used to work in a call center in India, I made company with strangers. One of the guys was a relative of my dad's colleague, which I found out later. So we were doing night shifts and they all decided to drink after work and go to sector 17. There were 4 people in total. I had drinking experience but not that high level, like I was just a beginner. That day they ordered too much and I too kept on drinking with them. I had taken them in my car because I was driving. While driving there came a time, while drinking there came a time when we all had too much. I remember taking them to my car. Then there was a blackout. When I woke up in the morning, I had zero memory. The next day, everyone came to work so I must have dropped all of them home, and they said it too. I know myself I would not have given my car keys to any of them, so I must have been driving. I woke up with one shoe on one foot and second barefoot. This has never happened to me, like zero memory. I mean, I dropped 3 guys to different locations but no memory, not even a bit. It only means that I was not me who was driving. Had there not been a higher consciousness, I would have been dead too. Maybe I was reborn. Who knows what happened at that time? I quickly ran and saw my car was also parked fine with no damages. So I drove right. And the other guys were safe and sound. Plus there were no accidents in the news. Because I didn't even had a glimpse of what I did. From that day I decided that this is unacceptable. It must not happen this way. So after that incident, I had 2 choices. To be a runner and never drink again and completely frightened, which many people do or may not even do. The ones who are not even thinking of quitting after that incident are at an annual stage of life, which means their thinking capabilities are near to zero. But I decided to drink to only that level that is good for me. Because now I only drink as if I was drinking on a medicinal basis, keeping in view of the shit food we eat these days. No matter even if it's home cooked pure vegetarian food. Nothing is pure these days with all the chemicals around. The second day those guys again wanted my company, but I also didn't want to say no to them. So I decided to go, but I would just observe them and would act like I'm drinking, but would not drink to see what happens to them, how they behave. So much after drinking. After drinking, one of them got too aggressive. The second guy couldn't handle the alcohol and got intoxicated and lost his senses too early after just a single drink. But he still keep on demanding that he wants more. The other guy got pissed off and slapped him hard. We managed to stop them for further dispute and further harassment. Later it was time to drop them off, but this time I was completely sober. The guy who couldn't handle alcohol was now fully sleeping. I kept on asking him where his house is, as I don't remember anything since my last night experience, because I don't know what I did. He didn't reply, so we had no choice but to drop him on a big roundabout circle, like where in India they have a big one, not like Canada. So I thought, let's see what happens with this guy now. Hopefully he doesn't roll over and fall on the road. Next day I saw him completely normal without remembering any slap incident. Like he was now a different person. Maybe he went home safely, but he was not himself anymore. Also, I thought they both would now be enemies and would not be together anymore. But to my surprise, they were like friends the next day and didn't remember anything at all. Like nothing happened. So they were living two lives, enemies when they were drunk and friends without drinks. Like with the weed also, I had similar kind of experience. I started smoking weed with my college buddies here in Canada. So it was my first experience. They puffed one time and they all went high, and I puffed several times and then I experienced a little effect. My friends considered me God and said nothing happens to this guy even after one full joint, and he is just a beginner and we are experienced from India. So they believed I'm like a God whom weed doesn't affect. I too felt proud of that. Later, while I was sharing this experience with one of my friends on video, he scolded me and told me that I was just doing mouth to mouth and not inhaling properly inside. Then I realized what mistake was there, and then I started doing it properly. Now I had developed the old habit of smoking a lot, since I didn't used to get high even after smoking a lot before. I smoked a lot and then I did it continuously for 3 days. Now the real effect has happened. So I am in another world now. The strange part is that it's been 2 days and I'm still in another world. I called my friends and asked them how to be normal again. They said to eat something heavy, drink alcohol, which is the opposite of the weed. I tried, but nothing is happening. Every day I'm calling them and asking them. Even I called many of my other friends, but there was no solution. I felt like I have to live like this my whole life. I'm going to work but trying my best to act so that nobody notices that I'm high. It's been a week and I had similar experience when I got too drunk. I had gone to the extreme of smoking weed, also being a newcomer in smoking weed. So after that incident, I again had two choices: to be a runner and never smoke again, because that was a completely frightening incident, which many people do or still may not do it. The ones who are not even thinking of quitting after that incident are at an animal stage of life, which means their thinking capabilities are near to zero. But I decided to smoke at only that level that is good for me. I learned the control level. So this is also with Bhagavad Gita: don't run away, but just do your action as per the requirement. Arjuna is the consciousness of every human ever possible. Hence he is amazing. Gita is amazing because it is the basis of the very inner state of mind of all humans in the past, present or future yet to come. The inner state of mind of every human, the struggle that Krishna has with Arjuna all the time, the dialogues or dispute that Krishna has with Arjuna. The one who tries to pull Arjuna towards God, and Arjuna sits back and is almost fainted. He wants to fall back into the animal form. This struggle is for Arjuna, not for Duryodhana. Duryodhana is relieved. If Arjuna is like that, then he cannot be rest assured. But this is not the case with Arjuna, as he wants to level up instead. Those among us who are like Duryodhana are carefree. They are building houses, they are ascending the thrones of capitals in Delhi, they are making money. Those among us who are like Arjun are restless in trouble. They are restless because the place where they are does not seem suitable for building a house. We have moved ahead from where we came from. It is not possible to go back. Where one has not reached, one has no idea where the path is. Where is that temple leading towards upliftment? There is no trace of it. A religious man is naturally distressed and in crisis. An unreligious man is not in crisis. That's why a man sitting in a temple will look more worried than a man sitting in prison. The man sitting in jail does not seem to be worried. He is relaxed. He is on one shore. He is not on the bridge. In a sense, he may seem fortunate, enviable, how carefree he is. But his good fortune hides a deep curse. He will remain on the shore. Not even a ray of being a human has been formed in him yet. Trouble begins with humans. Anguish begins with humans. Because only with humans the doors to possibility and potentiality of being divine open. That Arjuna does not want to be an animal. The condition is that of being an animal. He has no idea about the existence of God. Deep down in the unknown, the desire is to be God. That is why he is asking. That is why the question is being raised. That is why it is awakening curiosity. One who has questions in his life, who has curiosity in his life, who has dissatisfaction in his life, religion can come into his life. The one who has no worries, no questions, no doubts, no curiosity, no dissatisfaction, there is no facility for religion to come into his life. And I also want to mention you that the alcohol incident, I was like too young at that age. So, at that age, being without zero memory is like a kind of shocking experience. The seed that breaks to germinate will be in trouble. The seed is very strong thing. The sprout is very weak. The seed is very carefree. The sprout becomes very worried. The sprout emerges from the ground by breaking stones. A weak thing like a sprout breaks the stones, cuts the soil and comes out into the unknown world, which has no introduction, no identity. Yet, some child could break it, some animal could graze on it, it could get crushed under someone's feet. What could have happened? What could not happen? If the seed remains within itself, then it's a very safe stage. Neither it will be crushed under the feet of a child, nor there are any unknown dangers. It is closed in on himself. Duryodhana is like a person enclosed in a seed. He is carefree. Arjuna has sprouted. Arjuna is worried. Arjuna is restless. What will happen? Will flowers come or not? Seed symbolizing Arjuna has ceased to exist. Will flower come now from the end of the seeds or not? For the flowers and the growth, Arjuna is eager. The same eagerness makes him continuously ask questions to Krishna. That's why there are worries and questions in Arjuna's mind and not in Duryodhana's mind. So there is a question being asked. Lord, please tell me that man keeps facing conflicting situations again and again. So what should be the basis to overcome this conflicting situation? And how can we make the conflict-filled situation development-oriented? And in this stage of conflict, if we have made a decision or determination, then what is the main thing in front of us? Same question is in Arjuna's mind. Arjuna also wants to do the same as a man usually solves this question. Conflict is the nature of man, not of the soul, not of the body. Conflict is the nature of man, meaning his mind. If you try to resolve the conflict hastily, the way to go is to return to the animal stage. If you hurry, you will go back to your previous level. That is the familiar path where you can easily go back. To go through the conflict is penance. To endure conflict patiently is penance. So I'll continue next.